Hello and welcome back. Today, guys, we have the FOMC meeting coming up. So that's obviously going to be the talk of the town. I believe it's at 2 p.m. coming up New York time. So whatever time that is for you in the world, that's when we're going to see massive volatility. We also have an SEP coming out as well, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, I'm going to breeze through this, okay? Just so we can kind of, get in and out, keep it quite short, quite concise. Just one mention, I know someone was talking about what happened to Binance yesterday. We did cover this off slightly, but I wanted to reassure you, for anyone who is invested in Binance, look at the outflows, look at the inflows. Pretty much the same. In fact, there's more inflows. There was a lot of people talking, hey, there's been $6 billion of outflows. And so that did lead to a bit of FUD. And this was actually retweeted by CZ, saying, look, guys, bomb. We've had 6.5 billion in, and yes, we had 6 billion out, but it doesn't really matter. And he has addressed this in his open AMA, which I've been listening to over on Twitter. So if you're interested in that, go and have a look. Now, like I said, we're going to keep it quite quick. Shout out to the UK, very similar CPI story. This is really good for supply chains. This is going to be really good for earnings because we're seeing this inflation come down, okay, overall. And that kind of, it's built from like supply chains and people, doing just like not being in stress like they were during the pandemic. Obviously, FOMC economic projections, that is called a SEP, so a summary of economic projections. They're going to go through, they're going to give us this. So we're going to be looking at these core inflation services were up by only 0.1% when last October they were up by 0.4. In September they were up by 0.8. So we are seeing that decrease, and that's why we had a good CPI yesterday. Fed rate decision is almost guaranteed, a 50 basis point hike, and also the Fed press conference. Now, what I kind of expect from this is that they're going to continue at a 50 basis point hike, probably getting us up to around about, I don't know, I want to say like 5, but maybe 5.5. I don't think they should go any higher because, and if they do, then they'll have to just do 25 basis point hikes. But yeah, so I would say, look, anticipate for the rest of the day, especially in the stock market and, traditional markets, expect a little bit of selling because, with the summary of economic projections, this is going to be so big. And I've been through, and what these are previously on the channel, that I think people are going to sell because that's a bit of volatility. This is them laying out their plan essentially for the next 3 to 6 months. We will have a new update in 3 months, but that's like 100 days away. And so I do want to quickly show you something. Atlanta Fed GDP, they now estimate that the real GDP of Q4 2022 is kind of sitting around about this level of just over maybe 3.5% or so, as you can see here. So this is where we kind of are at the moment. This is a good sign. And again, another reason why I think the Fed will begin to take their foot off of the gas when it comes to their rate hike. Currently, as you can see over here, we're looking at an 80% chance of a rate hike. Maybe it's easier to see my cursor here. And that's only at 50%. And then, where are we looking to go? Maybe a 25 basis after that, a 25 basis after that. But then I don't think we're going to go too much further. I think, quantitative tightening will come in. We're doing QT at the rate of 90 billion. So that's reducing that balance sheet of like, what was it, 8-9 billion, was it like 8 trillion, completely down by 90 billion a month. And good win for Ether. CFTC declares Ether as a commodity yet again. This is what we're going to have a look at. AJ, firstly, how are you? What are your thoughts on Ether at the moment? Are we looking good technically? Has this news given us a little bit of hope? Because I think we are going to see a little bit more movement into Ether in the near future.
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. But yeah, looking on the technical side of Ethereum right now, for me, it's actually looking fairly bearish. I know we've had a push towards the upside because of this for Ethereum, But for me, Bitcoin, I'm still expecting another leg down. And if we're going to see that for Bitcoin, we're going to see that for Ethereum as well. For me right now, Ethereum is looking good. Yes, we are pushing towards the upside. I think there is a little bit more room towards the upside. But yeah, initially, I do still think we're going lower on Ethereum. And there are some bearish signs coming on the technical side of things as well with Ethereum.
Yeah. Let's have a quick look at some of those things technically. I'll bring your screen up here.
Yeah, so looking at this chart here, so this is the Ethereum 4-hour chart. As we can see, like Bitcoin was, if you've been following the channel, you know that we've been within this this range on Bitcoin, but this is Ethereum, and we're in that same range. Okay, we've been ranging for a while now. Value area low to value area high, and we're expecting value area high to value area low next. Because we are at that value area high. But we want to look for those confluence signs as well. Now, we have broken above a horizontal level, which is, in fact, actually fairly bullish. But what we want to see is we want to see a potential retest and then a bounce, or we want to see some nice volume coming in. Right now, we're not seeing that major bullish volume coming in, keeping that momentum going towards the upside. So, for me, this is not going to continue. This pump isn't going to continue if we cannot get that momentum. We cannot get that volume to keep that momentum going. But right now, what I'm seeing is we have this ascending trend line here. This is going to be sort of our next resistance level if we do make it up to there. We also have this golden pocket coming in at $1,450 approximately from the previous swing high to the swing low, but we're still a bit of a way away from that right now. So we still have this ascending trend line here to be focusing on first, and we've used this as perfect support previously. So when we were above it, we've used it as really nice support here, a bit of support here before the breakdown. But then after we broke towards the downside, we did use it as resistance. So resistance there, came close to it there. And as you can see, we are coming up to it again. So this is a level of resistance that I would be looking at. But the main thing that I'm sort of looking at is the volume. But the volume isn't coming in yet, and may not come in. But what I'm also looking at as well is the RSI with divergences. I love looking for divergences because I back tested this before. 74% of the time, divergences do play out. So there is a high chance, a high possibility that we are going to see a pullback here. Maybe a little more push toward push towards the upside again before that actual pullback. For me, this wouldn't be a shorting opportunity unless we came into a cluster of resistance. We only want to short those cluster of resistances. We don't want to go off solely based on one bit of TA. But what we're looking at here is we are seeing higher highs on those on the price action chart, but on the RSI we are forming lower lows. So it's a textbook bearish divergence for me, and it doesn't signal that we're going to get a pullback now, but it does signal to me that there is a possible pullback coming. And looking at Bitcoin as well, for me Bitcoin is still looking bearish. I know we're having a push towards the upside and we could even push a little bit higher, but for me it's still looking bearish, and of course we'll explain that. I'll explain that later as well. But yeah, for me, for Ethereum, for me, I think we could have a little push again towards the upside potentially before a pullback, or we could, find this as a local top here and then see a pullback there. So for me, for Ethereum, I'm still a bit bearish.
How similar is it if we bring ourselves onto the Bitcoin chart? How similar, are the two charts looking at each other?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar. As you can see, these are both the 4-hour charts, and they are, pretty correlated. Let me just get rid of this. They are pretty correlated at this moment in time. This is looking very, very similar to that Bitcoin chart, almost identical. So yeah, they are very, very correlated at this moment in time. But the main reason why I'm expecting a pullback for Ethereum is because I'm expecting that pullback for Bitcoin. I'm still anticipating that pullback. Yes, I think we could go a little bit higher before that pullback, but we'll talk about that when we get onto Bitcoin.
Good. Well, I mean, I think let's just go straight in.
Yeah, straight onto Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
Absolutely.
well, looking at Bitcoin here. Same scenario. You know, we've got this fixed range. Now, oh, there we go. Disappeared for a sec. Now, you know, the main chart that I'm looking at, you know, if you've been following the channel, you know I've been looking at the daily chart mainly because, you know, we had that descending triangle that's broke towards the upside, minimal volume was decreasing. This is a very bearish sign. You know, I entered a short. Unfortunately, we made a loss on that short, you know, a very rare loss in our case. But still, we move on. We look for that next trade, and for me, it's still looking bearish. Yesterday, yes, we did get a little spike in bullish volume, but still not enough for me to be happy that this pump can continue. So what we're looking at here, if we draw a line, we can still see that this volume is very much decreasing. It's quite hard to see because the volume is decreasing by very minimal amounts, but it is initially decreasing, as you can see right here. And yeah, we're pushing towards the upside. So it's still a very, very bearish sign for me that volume is decreasing whilst the price is going up. And above us, we do have major resistance up here. So we have a big cluster of resistance. Now, it's quite, you know, the resistance, it's not as there's not as much confluence as I would like to see in one sort of smaller zone. It's quite a big zone of resistance that we can see here. So between $18,500 to $19,500, that's sort of the big cluster of resistance. You know, we've got this major resistance level coming in here, which was previous support. As you can see here, we've respected it very well as support before the break towards the downside. And now we're below it, so we're going to use it as major resistance. Coming back to that 4 hour, we do have a daily level, which was actually very well respected on the 4 hour chart as well. As we can see back here, you know, we entered a massive short position here. We made a really nice trade, and we were using this daily level as well. And as you can see, it was very well respected on this 4 hour chart, and the likes of the 8 hour and the 12 hour. And bearing in mind, it is a daily level. So that's coming in at approximately $18,500. And that's coming in confluence, yeah, with this major resistance. We also have the value area low from the previous range that we were trading. So this previous range from back here that we did in fact trade as well. Yeah, that we have the value area low at $18,600 approximately. So coming in confluence with that major resistance. Then we have the golden pocket coming in from previous swing high to swing low. That's going to come in as resistance as well. But then we also have the point of control coming in at $19,155 as well. So there's a big cluster of resistance here. So that's an area that I would be looking to short. Now, I would go in lightly to start with. But then I would, you know, stagnate those shorts. Let me just show you. I would stagnate those shorts in between this big cluster of resistance. Now, it doesn't mean that all of those orders will be filled, but because there's such a big resistance level here, I do expect these resistances to possibly be hit, and then we do see a pullback from there. And why I expect this, or before I get into that, we also have this ascending parallel channel as well, which is still being respected on the daily. You know, that sort of comes in confluence as well around $18,500. So we've got resistance coming in there if we do come and test that. But for me, you know, I solely base my analysis sort of off the technical side of things, and you know that has played out really well for us over the past three-ish months. You know, we made 10 trades. We only had 2 losing trades. The rest of them were winning trades. So 8 winning trades, 2 losing trades. You know, we've been on a really good run recently. And, you know, I'm looking to continue this. I want to make more trades. I want to bring you more trades. And this is sort of the next trade that I'm looking at. But yeah, as I said, you know, I tend to solely base my analysis off the technicals, but we also have to look at the fundamentals sometimes as well, because like yesterday, it was looking prime for a pullback, but then fundamental news came in, and that's the reason why we got stopped out of that trade. But we do have, yeah, the FOMC meeting today as well. And for me, Ben, I know we was talking about this off stream as well a little bit. For me, you know, having a 50 basis point rate hike, it's good, but it's more bad for me because, you know, the rates are still increasing. So for me, I would expect a push towards the upside, and that could bring us to these resistance levels here. But initially, I would be expecting a pullback after the pump because the rates are still getting increased. And yeah, also, of course, you know, we've got to see what Jerome Powell says as well. But for me, I do expect a pump and then a possible dump after that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think part of it is also because, like, if we look at the timing, we have the interest rate decision coming out at 2 p.m. and then we have the Fed press conference coming out at 2:30 p.m. So there is half an hour lag time, well, of
Yeah.
active trading, that I think we are going to see a little bit of discrepancy. So, and that's where I would agree with you. I think that, because it's going to come in at 4.5, the market, I think, has already pretty much priced it in. So I don't
Yeah.
expect the pump to be too big.
No.
What's really going to happen, and I think this will not affect the crypto market maybe as quickly, but the FOMC economic projections. So, the summary of economic projections, which basically say what's the terminal Fed fund rate, what are we going to end up at, and what are the goals. I think that's going to be one of the major things that influences the economy initially. But yeah, I'm going to say 4.5. Everyone will be like, oh yes, they're decreasing. This is really good. But then people will start taking profits, and then I don't really think that it's going to be enough to give us a sustained pump. So within that first half an hour, massive volatility, even especially for crypto as well. And then with the Fed press conference, I think we're just going to be, looking to see, how bearish is he, or hawkish. You use hawkish for the
Yeah.
Fed. So how hawkish is he going to be? Is he going to say, look, we're not in any excitable zones. We shouldn't, we are going to be very aggressive for a long period of time. These are all things I expect Jerome Powell to be saying, that,
Yeah.
the end is not in sight, which again is just with that whole idea of let's kill the market. I don't think, until they're ready to pivot, I don't think he's going to start saying good things about the
Mhm.
market, and that for me is a bit of an issue. So that's my kind of take on that there.
Yeah. And
So that's to answer your question there, Sabiri.
yeah, yeah. You know, I'm expecting that slight pump. You know, as you said, not really a major pump because we've already had the push towards the upside, and plus we do have the resistances literally right above our heads right here. And just to
Yeah.
add two more things onto this as well. Um, we do have a potential bearish divergence forming here as well. So this is something we need to look out for. And this is something that's, well, a bearish divergence, which I'm pretty 100% sure is going to occur. You know, the pullback is most likely going to happen. You know, as I said, 74% chance that bearish divergences do play out. But I'm 100% sure that this bearish divergence will occur, not actually play out. You know, there's only 75% chance of that, but I'm 100% sure that it's going to occur because we're so far away from this previous high here, but we're on the RSI, we're so close to this previous high here. So I think if we do get a little push towards the upside, the RSI is going to push higher than this previous high here, and we're most likely going to form a bearish divergence there, and that's just going to sort of be the icing on the cake, you know, the cherry on top there for me. That's, you know, we're finally going to get this pullback that I have been anticipating. You know, I don't want the pullback, you know, but it's something that I see coming because of the volume mainly, but also, you know, with the fundamental side of things as well. You know, it's not looking good for me. And talking about this major resistance above us as well, this cluster of resistance here, that also comes in confluence with a major resistance level here. So we've got the 2017 all-time high right here now, and we've used it support back in July and June, July 2022, August, September, October. You know, we used it as a major support level throughout 2022. And coming into 2023, you know, end of 2022, I think we could actually, you know, retest this. If we come and test these resistance levels here, we're going to be testing this level right here, this major previous support, but we can actually change this to resistance now because we are below it. But testing this major resistance level here, which is a possibility. We also have this downtrending trend line here as well. That's coming in confluence as well. So, for me, that is looking like a really, really good shorting opportunity. We retest this resistance and then we see a rejection from there. But yeah, for me, I'm still expecting this pullback. And I think even if we do get a pump potentially to $19,200 approximately, $18,500, that would be a shorting area for me. I wouldn't actually be looking for a long unless the short got stopped out and then we broke above the resistance. And that's when we can start sort of getting excited and talking about 20K, but I don't expect that at all. And, there isn't even a high chance. I don't think that we even come into this resistance level here. It all depends what happens with the FOMC, to be honest with you. If we do see that push towards the upside to this resistance level, then I'm most likely going to be stagnating those shorts within here. And of course, if I do that, I will be live showing you me doing that and putting my money where my mouth is. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm expecting. And volume is still looking prime for a bull trap. So it's not looking good for me. And yeah, we'll have to see how today goes.
Yep, that we do. Well, if there are not any other questions, guys, I was going to do something very inappropriate, as you can see in the comments. No, you let your intrusive thoughts win. But anyway, no. Thank you very much, guys. Make sure that you do smash the like button and also follow us as well on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Pay for me to get a haircut. What's going on? But yeah, we'll see you potentially later on, if not later on today, because it is almost 12 o'clock by the time it comes on for myself, and then I may be on early doors tomorrow, and just give you a full review of what happened, what was going on, and how we can play this to our advantage.
Yeah,
there we go.
Thank you for watching, guys. See you potentially later on, if not tomorrow. Thank you.
Take care. See you in the next one.